Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contour Community Meeting. Today is September 7th, 2021. Got a bunch of attendees here and some status updates. So let's dive into the status update. Nick?
Yeah, sure. We're moving Contour to quarterly releases. That's the plan anyway. This is the design PR. The short version is, we want to start releasing Contour quarterly, and we're going to start with the release that's due out in October. And at that time, we're also going to start moving towards supporting 3 versions of Contour. So at the end of this process, we will have 3 quarterly, Contour will support 3 quarterly releases, so 9 months of support for a given version. So this is the PR. We've had a bit of, we've had some good maintainer comments. I think the maintainers are all in agreement now. I have left this open for now to hopefully gather some community feedback and +1s, etc. So I'm going to leave this open for 2 more days until Friday my time. It's Wednesday my time now. So Thursday Pacific time. I will merge this in and begin work on actually updating all the docs to reflect that this is what we do now. If you have thoughts about this, excellent. I would love the feedback, or if you just think it's a good idea, then some +1s would be extremely welcomed. So yeah, that's the key table. I think that's the that table is the how the support will work. You can see that we continue supporting 1 version for the first quarterly release, then the second quarterly release we support 2, then the third quarterly release we support 3, then the 4th one we start shifting the 3 releases window. And in terms of support, we're talking about backporting, security fixes, and critical fixes only. We're not going to backport features. It's only going to be critical fixes. So that's quarterly releases PR. Definitely feedback welcome.
Yeah, I think this is great, and moving to support the latest 3 will help as well for the longevity of installations and deployments. Making sure all our users don't have to immediately update every time we do a new release. So I would like this.
Definitely what we're aiming for. It also helps that Envoy is now releasing. When we first came up with our current process, Envoy was only releasing patch releases for its most current release. But now Envoy have also are also releasing patch releases and security fixes back a few versions. So we should be more safe to do this.
Nice. Great.
Yep. Yeah. I think over to you, Steve K.
Yep.
Yeah, so another quick announcement. So we are going to be migrating the container images for Contour from Docker Hub into GitHub Container Registry. And so the work for this is in flight, and the next release, 1.19, will be the first release that has manifests pulling images from GHCR by default. We're currently pushing all of our main builds container images into GHCR as well. So if you want to test out pulling them from there, feel free to use the main tag to pull those. The primary reason we're doing this is to avoid any rate limiting issues that I think folks are well aware of that have come up over the past year or so. And so we think this will just be a better experience for users. So the plan is so we'll be pushing things into GHCR. Our manifests will move to using the GHCR images by default as of the next release. We will continue to push images to Docker Hub as well for a few releases, so that if folks have any custom manifests, aren't using our examples or the operator, they'll still be able to pull images from Docker Hub, and we'll push new releases up there for a couple more releases. But we will stop that within a few releases, so we'll give everyone plenty of heads up that that's going to be officially shut off. But definitely, plan to start pulling from GHCR if you're using the example manifests or the operator. This will happen automatically. So that's all.
And so did we pull some versions back into GHCR as well?
Yep, that's a good point. So we've also pushed every version tag starting at 1.0 of both Contour and the Contour operator into GHCR. So if you're using back versions, you can now pull those from GHCR as well.
Awesome. So then even if you're on an earlier version, you can just start pointing to that registry right now. Fantastic.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, those are great. Do we have, is there a deprecation mark or something like that that we need to put up on Docker Hub, or an explanation that we're moving somewhere? So if someone stumbles across it on Docker Hub, that we have it there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We can go in and edit the readmes that are up there. Definitely put a big deprecation notice at the top. So I'll take an action item to do that.
Okay, awesome. Do you want to write up something for the mailing list as well?
Yep, will do. I posted a message on Slack, but yeah, I should send one to the mailing list as well. So yeah, thanks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for the reminder. I will also do that for the quarterly releases.
Yeah, I'm happy to review before you send out as well. So if you want to write it up, I'll happily review. Cool. Awesome. Steve Sloka.
Hey, yeah, so we've done some work here on this idea of moving to a configuration CRD. So right now Contour uses a config map primarily for its configuration, and that you've got to edit that, and then Contour parses that and uses it. There's also some environment variables as well as command line flags that come into play. So there's sort of a lot of different places that this all can get kind of configured. Looking ahead to some work we're going to do with managing Envoy from Contour, it makes sense to kind of move all of this stuff and centralize it into a CRD. Let's do a couple things. So one, it lets us reorganize kind of how that config file has grown over time. So when we started it, it had a couple options, and it's sort of grown and got disorganized. It also allows us to add validation, so we can have some types and different things in there, and you can get a more real-time validation feedback loop versus today you change the file, have an issue, and then the Contour will just log an error and it'll crash loop. So this way we'll still do the crash loop to start with, but you'll at least if you try to put a string in for an int value or something, we can have the API server throw that out. And then also lets us clean up some of the work the operator was doing. So operator was managing its own CRD and then converting all that to a config map. So now we can just centralize around this one struct type and move forward with that. So and we also have status, right? So we can have status as well as another mechanism to provide feedback. So this design, we just merged this. So this is looking at this idea of this configuration file, and then looking ahead to the operator as well. We have an idea of a Contour deployment. And that is representing what the operator would manage in terms of managing contours. So it'll have the same Contour configuration as well as other things to manage how the Contour deployment itself should look. So I encourage you all to check this out, and then we'll have PRs and things in flight to implement this here for 1.19. And that's it. So it should be a fun change. And then we'll support everything for a while, obviously, so we're not going to just deprecate this immediately. So we'll have to have some good testing that Sanjay will have to double check me on in terms of having, who wins in what scenario in terms of the old configuration with the new configuration with the flags and everything. So we'll have all that, and then we'll publish, the deprecation bits as we figure those out.
So we are going to start with this being enabled, but not yeah, everything will keep working as long as if you're not using this to start with, right?
Yeah, there's no, you're not forced into using this yet, right? So if you have a config map configuration, this will work. I think if you reference this from Contour, the CRD specifically, then we'll use that. So yeah, you'll be able to buy into it slowly for sure. And we did put this in the V1 Alpha 1 API group inside Contour, just so we can kind of see what shakes out of it as we implement it. And then once we finalize that, we can move it to the V1, to stabilize it.
And if you're using the operator today, will the way you manage Contour change with this?
Yeah, the operator workflow will change a little bit. I mean, the generic concept of how the operator will work, in the sense of it managing contours, the whole workflow will be the same. Just I think some of these we'll use some different configuration bits here to set it up. So yeah, the operator won't use this yet until we update it to use it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I feel like the critical path here is that we introduced this config CRD into Contour, and then the operator will change once we've got this in and we're comfortable that Contour is working with it, then we'll change the operator to use the new Contour deployment, which Steve is building as part of this. And then once that's done, we're deprecating the current operator's Contour object, which contains all of the same information. And then we should have a much more clear sort of demarcation of how this configures. I think one of the key things that Steve's done great work on here is that the Contour deployment object actually contains the full spec for the Contour configuration object. So if you using the operator and you're configuring anything inside the spec of the Contour deployment object that Steve is talking about, then anything that we add to the Contour config CRD will just automatically get pulled into there and will be available in the same release as the in the Contour deployment object. So as soon as we make it available in Contour, it'll arrive in the Contour deployment object. There's no more development for us to do.
Awesome. Thank you. Does anyone have any other status updates that they want to call out for today?
I think there's a couple of other small updates. Well, they're not small updates, but they're sort of small updates to the community. We've been doing a little bit of work around as part of changing the release cadence. We're going to be introducing like a changelog process where each PR will have like bits that fit into the eventual release notes and the changelog, and those changelogs will be archived as files inside the repo. Associated to that, one thing that I will be doing soon is I'm going to be bringing the current compatibility matrix. Jonas, could you pull up the website and go to the compatibility matrix page? It's a little hard to find at the moment. There. So yeah, this compatibility matrix, we are going to make available a machine readable version, a JSON version of this inside the repo that we will keep up to date as we do releases. So as we update this, the machine capable version will be there. The point of that is for our downstream consumers of Contour to be able to know in a machine parsable way what Envoy versions, Kubernetes versions, operator versions, and we're going to add the gateway API supported version onto this as well, so that then all of those sort of different things that we need or require or depend on will be included in that machine readable file. So the intent there is for people who we know are consuming Contour downstream, like Knative, now have a place where they can, and Helm charts and stuff like that all have a place where they can get the canonical representation of what Contour version requires, what Envoy version, what Kubernetes version, that sort of thing. Yeah, and sort of associated to that, we're doing a bunch of tidy up around the repo. I've added in some extra processes around security stuff, and we're adding in like the threat model we use, a description of the threat model that we use, and some other documentation like that. So yeah, we're just sort of trying to bring all of our stuff along to make it clear, to make a lot of the stuff we've been doing for a long time, but we just never written down a lot more clear. So we've done a lot of thinking about how Contour interacts with Kubernetes security and how the security model of Contour works and what our threat assessments are and all that sort of stuff. But we've never written that down, and we've never made it sort of publicly available in anywhere outside of like my head and some of the other maintainers' heads. So this is an attempt to like write some of that stuff down so that everybody can see the stuff that we're thinking about.
That's great. So will those be documented under the regular docs here, or?
Yeah, so in general, what I'm trying to do is for some of these things, there's some standards with GitHub where there should be a security MD file that describes your security threat model and your security notification process. I've already added, if you go back to the documentation thing, there is a security section now Yeah. So I've actually, as part of my next PR, it will actually backport this security section to the current release. Yeah. So that's the security report process. What you need to do to report things. That was only in the security.md file inside the repo, but there's now the security.md file as the next PR will be updated with the threat model. The threat model will also be added in here as another page, and there'll be pointers to those pages inside that for if you want to report a vulnerability. So it should be a bit, the information architecture should be a little bit clearer around this stuff. I think that in my mind, one of the things that Celeste requested when she did the review was that we look at the sort of overall information architecture and how easy it is to navigate. I think we probably still need to do a bit more of that, but that seems like something that we probably need to, the maintainers probably need to work closely with you and the tech writers working group to sort of plan out how we're going to change the information architecture around a bit.
Yeah, we have a few people who have joined in the tech working group there, or tech docs writing working group. I can't speak today. So yeah, that's one of the things that we called out in the latest office hours as well, that we definitely need help with to restructure things. So I think Gary is taking that on and leading that portion. So hopefully we'll see that soon.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a bit tricky for me to make the office hours, but I may organize
for sure
my working hours around 1 week or something so that I can come and have a chat with everybody. Yeah, because I definitely have some thoughts on stuff we could do here. There's a lot. I think we could do a lot better. Yeah. Cool. So I think we need to finish up a little early today. Normally we would take some extra time and spend some time on triage. However, the maintainer team is about to go and record our KubeCon talk. So we will head off and do that, and then you'll be able to see the fruits of that in like a little over a month.
Yay! Super
fun. So yes, so I guess it's probably relevant to mention that again. We mentioned it earlier, but yeah, we've got a project update and then some office hours at KubeCon itself as well. So the maintainers will all be available during KubeCon. I don't know if anyone's going. I am obviously not because I can't travel from Australia, but I will be online in all the virtual things.
I think Bill is going, and I will most likely be on the show floor, but I can't really help with the technical implementations of Contour. I can happily show people where to get the right information.
Excellent.
I won't, and I ended up reversing on physically attending, but I will be virtually attending.
Awesome. Well, that's it for today then. Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a great rest of the week, and good luck with the recording.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you.